we're going to finish up everything, right,
Let's
with
go.
materials. And this time around, we're going to dive even deeper into materials because we're going to be using some external softwares to create some new normal maps. And then we're going to teach you guys how you can mix normal maps to create highly detailed walls without actually having to model anything. And also, we're going to add some lights to the walls to make it more sci-fi. Farhad, are we ready?
Let's go.
Let's do this. The last chapter, we created our floor, removed the repetitiveness, and now all we have left to do is take care of these walls.
Throw that material on the wall.
Farhad, guess which material we're going to use?
I think we're going to use the metal burnished.
So we're going to go back to the starter content?
Yes, let's do that.
Dude, the starter content's freaking good.
It's good. It's not repetitive, easy to use.
And I love it. Okay, so we're just going to use the metal burnished steel. We already created a material instance, if you guys remember earlier on, but I'm just going to go ahead and delete it because I don't think you guys followed us. And now we're going to do it again together. So we have the metal burnished steel. Let's open this guy up. This is the actual material we want to use because it has all those holes and details which we think will be suitable for us. I'm going to remove the MF tiling because that's the only thing we changed, right? Everything else should be the same if you go ahead and open up metal burnished steel. So let's go ahead and add the tiling in together because we want to control the tiling. Or should we apply the material and see what it looks like first? Actually, let's do that. So hit apply. This is basically, until this point, you don't have to follow anything because this is probably your material right now. Let's go ahead to metal burnished steel, drag it, drop it onto our mesh.
Boom.
Boom.
Ooh, darkness.
Okay, so couple of things. First of all, as Farhad said, darkness because it's now metal and it's reacting to the light differently. And so it's rarely visible, right? Should we increase our lights?
Let's double down on the lighting.
Okay, so we have these rectangular lights. Let's go ahead and just select all of them, right? Shift select. I'm going to duplicate them by holding Alt and then bringing it to the left and then bring it higher. Just weird lighting, but don't care. I just want to see things. Duplicate it again and bring it all the way to the right. And that We can see it reflecting. It's much easier now to see the details. You can go ahead and just use these 3 bars, show FPS, just to see your FPS. Make sure you're not destroying your computer. Now, another way you can fix this, right? If you don't want to increase this many lights in case your computer is dying, you can just go to lit, right here. These are different modes that you can view your scene with. So you have unlit, which removes all the light and just shows you the base color of your meshes. There's wireframe and all that. You can try all of them, but what we're actually looking for, going back to lit, is right here. We're using game settings, so which means the default exposure. But if we uncheck this, we can play with this slider to increase the exposure of our scene. It will come in handy if you don't want to increase lights and you want to just go ahead and check things out. So I want to go back to 0 and then turn on game settings for us. We can afford to increase the lights, so we're going to do that.
Let's do it.
Now, Farhad, first problem, actually a couple of problems. What do you notice?
I can see 2 problems. One is the sharp normals here.
Yes, which is
sharp
really
lines,
ugly,
yeah.
right? And here as well.
And our edges, why they look like that?
So here, right?
Yes.
So these are
those.
stretched
marks.
textures. Yeah, stretch marks. So we got to fix the UVs, right?
Yes.
And we also have to fix the normals here. Remember the normals that helped us extrude these bad boys right here in the beginning? The same normals right now are causing these problems. So in Blender, for instance, we have the sharp normals and then smooth shading. This is the exact same thing. We need to go ahead and select our spaceship, go to the modeling tool, and fix the normals so that they will be smooth. And we can do that by going all the way down to attributes. And then we're going to go to normals. And then what we're looking for is down here. So normals topology, split normal method. We're going to change this to face normal threshold, which is going to, by the way, automatically fix this. Yeah, automatically fix it. But Farhad, check this out. So I'm going to bring this value down to 0 so that it's back again. And I want you to look closer to the angles that we beveled as well. Look at the bevels. Right now it's very sharp.
Yep.
And let's see what happens when we bring it to 60.
Hi, I'm Ash Hewson. I'm the CEO of Affinity, the award-winning professional photo editing and design software. And right now you can get a 6-month free trial of our entire suite. I think it's fair to say at the moment there is some flux, in the creative software market. And this has definitely meant that we're seeing many more people coming to Affinity to...
And then take it all the way to 180. It actually doesn't reflect light properly. So we don't want this value too high. Just make sure somewhere in the middle, 60 fixes all of our issues, right?
Perfect.
In the corners. Now this is going to
fix the edge.
Okay, to fix the edge, that's another thing that we have to do. So let's go ahead and click accept, make sure that's saved. To fix the edge, we need to go ahead and fix the UVs. Now, UV unwrapping, that's the whole concept that we talked about when it comes to materials, when you're wrapping textures around an object. If it's a cube, if it's a sphere, it's fairly simple. But let's say you have a spaceship with different sides, different sizes of polygons. It's going to become really complex. And that is probably the least favorite part for majority of 3D artists to deal with UV unwrapping because it's so freaking tough. But softwares like Blender, Unreal Engine, Maya, all these different softwares, they have their own methods to deal with UVs. Luckily, Unreal Engine has an auto UV feature that works 80% of the time if you have problems like this. So Farhad, shall we give it a try?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to go to UVs right here, create and edit UVs. Now there's many different ways you can edit your UVs. We're going to go to the auto UV function, which is going to basically show us a checkerboard to show us what the new UVs will look like. So by default, this is the one that we just used to test it. But by default, it's going to be on Patch Builder. There's 3 different methods, right? 3 different ways to calculate the UVs. We recommend messing around with all of them, see what works for you. But the goal is to not have these weird
looking patterns.
Absolutely. They need to look like this. This is your goal, right? So it's all straight, and then that way you will have proper textures. So right now, Patch Builder doesn't work. You can play with all of these, but we've already played. It doesn't work for us. You can go to UV Atlas, and then that's going to change these as well. It's going to load for you first. I don't like this as well. We played with the attributes. They didn't work. But when we went to X Atlas and
Boom.
played, so we just increased the checker density to see what it would look like. And this, although not perfect, worked for us, right? It's the cleanest one. And the front parts are also fixed. So Farhad, shall we give this a try?
Let's go and see.
Okay.
Click accept.
You can play with the max iterations, by the way, to get different results. We tried it with 10, hit accept, and look at what happens.
Boom.
So
It
this
worked.
part that was stretched out,
It's fixed.
it's fixed. And what else do we have to do, Farhad? These are,
I think they're too big. So we
Yeah.
need to change our tiling.
I agree with you. Okay. So in order to change our tiling, let's go ahead and quickly save. Let's go out of the modeling tab. Let's go to selection mode. And then let's create a material instance because clearly we need to control our tiling using the sliders. We know that already. Create a material instance and then drag it, drop it onto our mesh. And then go to our parent material. And then here, the two textures that we really care about is our base color and normal map, right? So we're going to create a tiling, click on any of these guys. And then hook the results into the base color. I'm just going to bring it down here and then hook it into our normal map. And just like that, if we hit apply, we are going to be able to see the tiling appear inside our material instance because it comes in as a parameter, right? Farah, what value should we give
Let's
it?
try with 7.
7, 7. Beautiful.
Guys, we tried this number before. I didn't just throw this number right now.
No,
I got
come
it
on.
right.
Why do you have to say that?
Yeah.
We knew the number.
Yeah.
Okay, we knew the number.
So you guys can play with different numbers depending on what sort sort of look you want to have in your spaceship. But I think for us, 7 looks really good.
Yeah, look at that. I really like this. I actually think, Farhad, we can even go a bit higher with the value. What do you say? Because the
9?
holes are, a little bit too noticeable. Maybe we can go higher, like 9. Or wait. What is it? Yeah, like 15 maybe? Let's try.
Sure.
I just don't want the marks to be so visible. Let's try 15 and see how that goes. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? I kind of like this. We can always change them later on
But
anyways.
still looks very naked, our texture.
I agree. So, I mean, this is a very good base. I mean, let's look at the spaceship. I'm going to hit G to disable all those light marks at the top. I kind of like the look of it, but it still looks empty, like you said.
Yep.
What do you think we can do?
We need to add lights.
We need to add lights and probably a little bit more detailing in the walls, right? So this is where we're going to turn to an external software called JS Placement.
It's free.
It's free. It's absolutely free. Developed by a guy. I forgot the name, but we're going to put it somewhere here. He's a genius. He created this software, which I'm going to load up right now. So JS Placement.
I'm going to put the link in the description so you guys can download it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I believe he's discontinued his updates for the software, but the software is so great and it's been used by many 3D artists over time that there are web versions of it. Like, you know how the old games are now available on the web, on different websites, you can stream them. There's web versions, there are downloads. Just try to figure out what would be the best way for you. We'll leave some links in the description so you can check it out. We now have the software downloaded. And when you open up JS Placement, basically what it does, it creates textures for you. And these textures are mostly used for sci-fi themes, sci-fi genres. So there are a couple of different textures we're going to generate, but the first one we're going to look at is jsplacement.grid. Now, if you open it up, this is going to look the same, by the way, on the web. We are just going to click this here to generate a displacement map. And when we hit generate, it's going to give us this texture, right? Every time you click it, it's just going to create a new version. Now, you can go ahead and play with all these parameters to change the shapes and the generations, but this is pretty good for us. So we're going to use something like this. Now, what are we going to actually use this for?
We're going to use it like a sticker on the wall.
Absolutely. And we're going to hook this into our emissive, which is going to emit light. We're also going to hook it into our normal map to create some extra details. Trust us, this is going to look super sick. Just wait, okay? So what you want to do right now is once the image that you like is generated, you want to go ahead and save it as a height map. A height map is basically the same photo that you're looking at, a black and white, which we can use for many different purposes. You also want to go ahead and save the normal map, right? Both of them, and it's going to save it somewhere on your drive. So let's go ahead and give it a try.
F5. However, we offer 3D rendering services. But you probably already know a guy who knows a guy who has a cousin who has a neighbor who could do it. Well, we also know a guy, Sebastian, a freelance expert with tons of reviews like this. We also know Kate, Carla, Shannon, and Greg, who provide services such as rendering, floor plans, sketching, and virtual staging. And they're all just a click away.
Your father knows about saving money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since boot camp.
It's going to ask you to save it. We already did it, so we're not going to do it anymore. Same thing for the normal map. Save it, and you're good to go. So once it's done, you can go ahead and close it for now. We don't need it anymore. And then what you want to do is go ahead and load it inside your content drawer. So I'm going to go ahead to our materials. I'll just create a new folder not to confuse things. And I'm going to call this wall texture. Right? And inside our wall texture, we're going to find, this is where we're recording everything. I'm going to go ahead to JS Placement. We've already done this many, many times, as you can see. And the one that I like the most that we created is original. So if I open it up, this is the generated height map, and this is the generated normal map. You can see the dots, and they follow exactly the same patterns. Drag and drop both of them into the content drawer, and we have them right here. So we're not going to go ahead and create a new material. We're just going to go ahead and add this to the current material that we have. And in order to do that, I'm going to go to our starter content. Open up our materials. You can go ahead and duplicate this material if you want. I'm just going to work on this one because this is the last time we're going to be using this metal material. And now, Farhad, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the content drawer right here. Let's go back to our wall textures. Let's bring in our height map first and also the normal map. Okay, so bring the normal map down here. We're not going to touch that yet. We want to use the height map to generate emission. So Farah, how can we do that?
Connect it to the emissive color, but make sure multiply it to an RGB
I like that. Why do we multiply it to an RGB?
because we want to control the light
Absolutely. We want to control the color.
of the light.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So if you were to just hook this RGB directly to emissive color, let's see what happens. Let's just apply this and let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So we're getting all these marks on our wall, but first of all, the marks are huge, right?
Connect that MF tiling to the same thing.
Absolutely. We want to use the same MF tiling result. I'm going to zoom in here. And if your window is not going to the right, just you push the window and then hit UV. Okay, and then hit apply. Let's see what happens.
Ooh, now it looks good.
Beautiful, right? Automatically, a little bit more
It
sci-fi.
looks much better now.
Okay, so now that we have these, Farhad, how can I go ahead and control the color?
So multiplied by a
RGB, node,
RGB
right?
node, which is 3.
3. I'm going to bring this here so you guys see clearly. So 3 and left click. This is our RGB node. And I want to multiply it. So M, that's a shortcut. Let's go ahead and put this in here, put this in here. And then instead, we're going to put this into the emissive color.
Give it a light. Light blue color.
Light blue color.
Like a real spaceship.
Okay, light blue color. All right, cool. Now, Farhad, let's convert this to a parameter so that we can actually control it in the material instance. I think that'll be much easier as well. So parameter, and then emissive color. Boom. So hit apply, and the color will automatically change here. We can go ahead and go closer to it so we can see the difference. And then Farhad, let's try to just change it to different colors.
Yes.
And see it work in real time.
Yes.
So you said blue, right? Okay.
Yes.
So let's keep it blue. Now, Farhad, I want to go ahead and also control the intensity because right now it's bright, but not bright enough.
So multiply it by another value.
So we need to multiply this again into a variable, right? A value. So let's duplicate the multiply node right here. And now just want to declutter some space. I'm going to pull this all the way down. And then I'll pull this down so they're not crisscrossing each other. So you have the emissive color. Now we will multiply this number again and we want to control it with a value. Now, the shortcut was 1, right? To bring in a value.
Yep.
But Farhad, can I just directly bring in a parameter?
Yes.
How do I do that?
S.
S. So the shortcut, instead of right-clicking this, turning it into a parameter, you have another shortcut, which is S, left-click, and that is already a 1 that was converted to a parameter, right? It's called a scalar. So we just call this
Intensity of emission intensity.
emissive intensity,
yeah.
okay, int. And then we'll put this into here, and then we'll hook this up into emissive color. Apply, it's 0, so it's going to go away. And then we'll come back here. And now we have emissive intensity. And then using the slider, we can go ahead and increase the value and check this out. Now, guys,
Too much.
this is looking ugly because we haven't added something that we call post-process volume. That is going to come in a few chapters. We usually add it in the very beginning of our scenes, but it just didn't make sense to talk about that until we figure out everything about materials. But you can add bloom and glow with it, which is going to automatically make it look magical, right? So we'll do that later. But right now, let's take the value back to 1 or even 2 should be just fine. Okay. And remember, you can also change the color. Look at this. Like automatically darker, more evil, right? This is like super duper cool. I love it. I love it. Okay, light blue, I agree with Farhad, should be perfect for us right now. I actually don't mind light green as well, but greenish blue, we can change it later. So right now,
what should we do with a normal map?
it's a very good question. So we said All right, we have all these details from the original material, from the metal material, and these lights are just randomly appearing like a paint, but they also have a normal map. Why don't we mix these normal maps together? But Farah, can we actually go ahead and use a multiply node?
No.
Okay, so we have to use something else.
Yes. We need to use the specific node that can mix two normals together.
And that works like a multiply node, but it just has a different name.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So what is that node called?
Start typing blend, angle, corrected.
Normals, right?
Yes.
Okay, so right click,
Search for it.
blend, angle,
Yes, that's the one.
corrected. Normals. Okay.
Yes.
So this is your multiply node for
For normals.
normal maps. If you try to use multiply node, it wouldn't work. So we're going to hook one of these guys here and then hook the other one into here.
Boom.
And then we're going to bring this guy, put it into the normal map. Now, before we make this work, I just want to show you guys one thing. So here, as you can see, it comes with this comment tab for your normal map, which is default there, which is there by default from the Epic Games guys. We can go ahead and pull this to make sure the normal map is covering here so it's more organized. If you want to comment out anything, you just press down a note and then hit C. It's going to bring in the same tab and then you can delete it. Like that, okay? To stay organized. I never do it, but you can. can.
Do it.
Do it. Do the right thing. Okay. Now, this is going to be a very minimal difference, but hey, we need to learn how to mix normal maps. And also, it will change the way the wall reflects light. So let's go ahead and hit apply. And Farhad, are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Boom. Now, wait. That didn't work.
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card, earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases you want, like dance lessons.
Ow, ow, ow.
And on what you need, like memory foam inserts. Ah, that's real life ready. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Terms apply.
Why? Oh.
You
Do you know-
retiling.
You retiling, baby.
You
We forgot. Okay, all right. Bring it in. It's not. Actually tiling the same. Okay. All right. Now we're going to
Ready?
see it around here. Hit apply and boom.
Yes. The intensity is not that much though.
Oh, you want to change the intensity?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How do we do that?
Guess what? You cannot use multiply for normals too.
No,
Why
we
do you have
cannot
to
use.
do it?
You cannot. So Farhad doesn't like how low intensity the normal map is right now. He wants to change it. Farhad, we cannot use the multiply node.
No.
So for normal maps, the multiply node is different for intensity and also for mixing things together. So what is the new node called that we need to know about?
Start searching. Flatten normal.
Flatten normal.
Yes.
So-
I don't know why the naming, but
Yeah, flatten. So it's basically saying how flat you want your normals to be. It's
Yes.
like the opposite of the intensity, like how high you want the intensity. So you're telling me if I put this into the normal,
yes.
and then the flatness is a value,
So
right?
you can use an S.
So an S if you want it to be a parameter, absolutely, or a 1 if you don't want it to be a parameter. And then we call this normal intensity, normal int. And then it's at 0. So hook this in, right? Now put this up here into our normal map and hit apply and save. And our normal maps right now are basically at a value of 0. Let's go ahead to our instances and try to control this value. Where is it? Normal intensity, and see what difference we'll see. So right now it's at 0. If you increase the value, do you see the
They're
difference?
coming out.
No, it's actually changing. So do you know why? So at 0, you expect it to be no normals, and then at 1, you expect it to be really intense. But because it's called flatness,
It's the opposite.
it's the opposite. Exactly. So at 1, it is absolutely flat. So there is no normals. And then at 0, it's actually really big. And then negative 0 doesn't do anything. So right now we were actually at maximum. However, I want to show you guys something. If the opposite flatness, the concept of it being an opposite is annoying you, you can always go ahead and learn this trick, which is a node called the 1 minus. So if we search for 1 minus, a 1 minus basically
inverses.
inverses it. Absolutely. So I'm going to hook this value into a 1 minus to inverse the flatness. So that it's the 0 and 1 are going to be inverted. So it makes more sense. So if we go back here now, a value of 0 for the normal is flat, and then a value of 1 is not flat. And then guess what? We can go even higher.
Just keep it to 1.
But you see, now we can go even higher than 1.
Yep.
Because we use the 1 minus. So 1 is perfectly fine, right? We just wanted to look for an excuse to teach you guys how you can combine normal maps and how you can control the intensity of normal maps. Because maybe even 1 for you is too much. You want to make it lower. Now, Farhad, let me tell you one more thing. I think that our maps, our mesh and its materials is still naked as you refer to it. Do you want to still add more detail?
Let's do it.
Okay. Should we go back to the JS placement?
Let's go and try another thing.
Hold up. Did you guys know you can speed up your workflow by using Polycam's photogrammetry instead of modeling and texturing?
Yeah, you just snap a couple of photos and voila. Plus, your objects will automatically look photorealistic because they're actually real.
Shout out to Polycam for sponsoring this course and giving you guys 30% off their pro plan. Promo code and link in the description.
Okay. So right now we have the lights and we have the normal maps, but I think we can bring in more detailing. Let's go back to our JS placement. I already closed it, so let's open it up again, JS placement. And this time around, we're going to use one of the different algorithms, right? Let's go to JS placement 2, All right. Now let's generate. And automatically you can see we're given these sci-fi panels. That's the look of it, right? Again, you can play with all these variables, but we're not going to do that. You can save the height map here, but we're not going to be using these as emissive materials. So that's why for us this time around, it's not important to use the height map. We just want the normal map because we just want the detailing added on top of the wall. We've already generated it. We've already generated this, so we're not going to do it anymore. Close it. Once your image is generated, just go ahead and check it out. Make sure it's cool. I can see the panels. The normal map is there. So Farah, what do we do now?
We just bring the normal map.
Bring the normal map here. All right. And we're going to load up the material. Farah, you got to guide me through this. So I'm going to find my parent material.
Instance.
Okay. So what do we do now? I've got my new normal material here.
Don't tell me you want to mix the normals again.
I want to mix the normals again.
Repeat the whole process again.
Okay. So I'm going to increase the size of this comment section. I'm just going to make sure this is it. Yes, this is. The image texture I'm looking for. I'm going to go back to my material. I'm going to drag and drop my new normal map. Make sure I save things because we got many things unsaved. And now the intensity I don't care about. So I'm going to pull this forward. This is my intensity. Pull this forward.
Duplicate.
I just want to go ahead and create a new multiply node. So what do I do?
Duplicate that.
Duplicate this.
Bring it down. Connect this. Connect the yes.
To here as if this was one texture and then bring this as the new normal
Texture.
map and then now just follow through with the exact same method. So this
What are you missing? What are you missing?
you UV tiling.
Yes.
Yes, make sure you don't forget that, right? Because you want it to be the same for everything. Okay, good on you, Farhad. That was good.
Good
okay.
on you, lad.
Good on you, lad. Okay,
Okay.
so we've got 3 normals now mixed with 2 blend angle corrected normals, and then all going into a flattened normal plus a normal intensity controlling all of that. Hit apply, and let's see the difference.
Wow.
Go
You
close.
You can see that all the details now.
Yes.
So all these changes, no matter how small or how tiny they look, they're going to have great impacts when you're making your cinematic at the end. All these tiny imperfection and details, it will make your scene much more realistic.
Absolutely. And you know why we added the lights? Later on, when you have depth of field, you'll see all the bokeh effects behind the stormtroopers. It's going to look absolutely amazing. So guys, thank you so much for staying through until the materials section. But Farhad, we're done with materials.
Yes. Congratulations to you guys who made it all the way here. Make sure, guys, to subscribe because tomorrow we will be uploading a new series of tutorial to continue on our spaceship. Until tomorrow, ciao.
By the end of this video,